That's 880s, 600 ohm, the impossible to drive. And we're gonna go. That's closer to that. That is closer to that than that is. Because the 789 is balanced, but these are not a balanced headphone, so it's less power. This is the SP200 with now the M200 DAC underneath it. And this isn't balanced at all. Even though it looks like it's balanced, we'll get to it. All right, take you off. So if you have the M200, you have a better chance of being able to run DT 880 600 ohm than you do if you don't have one of those. So there you go, the cheap guy wins again. So now this is the leaning tower. I'll try to illustrate that by putting it on its side. And then putting something that's, I don't know, perfectly square up against it. You can see there's a giant gap. Giant gap. Because that's what this is. There's memes about it. And we're not here to talk about the amplifier as much, although I do have both. And you know what? We're going to talk, because the finish is slightly different. Why do you do this to me, SMSL? By the way, now that they're both kinked, they could just go together. So that's, like, that'd be fine. They're like interlocking. Interlinked. Interlinked. Fire brigade, interlinked. Slightly different texture on the black. I did not realize that till just this second. I just stacked them on top of each other. Why would I need to compare the finishes? So this is the DAC, the M200, what I'm reviewing today. And this is the SP200, the amplifier that told everyone in the world, hey, you could have THX stuff for like under 300 bucks before all THX stuff became 300 bucks. And this has its quirks. If you don't know, I'll quickly go over the amplifier, which says THX. On-off switch, XLR RCA, only a high and low gain, not three-way, not like the 789 has low, medium, high. Because the low on this is not actually low. The low on this is probably more like medium. And that's important because this can sort of fix that. The back panel has balanced inputs and RCA inputs. And the front has a 1/4 inch and a balanced output. However, nothing about this amplifier is balanced. Even though it's got XLRs in the back and an XLR in the front, it's all the same. If you get an adapter and run a balance set on this and then run an adapter through the 1/4 inch, they're the exact same volume. This is a very simple, that's why the power supply and everything is built into it. There's no transformer, like the 789s have a big transformer. This is the smallest, cheapest way to do the THX. And you know what? I didn't actually give a shit that it wasn't balanced. And you probably shouldn't, because there's so little noise floor and distortion that you can't hear it anyway. Which those are some of the main things that balanced fixes. When you break the separation apart, you have the amount of noise or some other fucking science. Science. Today, however, we're talking about its little partner here, which you don't have to have one of these to look at these to look at these, because we're sort of, this is all a progression of things. So this is a fully balanced DAC, I hope. Find out in 2 weeks. Nah, it's just all wired together, one big bundle. XLR outputs, RCA outputs, left and right, black on the back, by the way, which is usually a Japanese thing. Coaxial input, fiber optic input, Bluetooth connection input, USB input, power supply. Power supply is here. We're looking at a 5 volt 4 amp. Super weird. Don't know why you'd run such a low voltage DAC, like you don't need it, but I mean that's what they went with, so I'm not gonna argue. Now I don't think there's any THX tech in the DAC. It would be awesome if there was, because the DAC does still have an amplifier in it. It takes a signal, turns it from digital to analog, but it doesn't come out at 4 volts, which is what most consumer XLR is. It comes out at like minuscule amounts of voltage, and then it has to be amplified up, which is why some DACs cost a fuck ton of money, because they take the same fuck ton of money they'd have in other amplifiers and they put it just for the DAC to go over a little bit up, and then it's like, oh, that's a fuck ton of money. So this remote control, balanced Bluetooth, slanty case design, bright blue fucking, it's blue. If my camera's not picking it up properly, it's blue. It's not purple. Actually, it's kind of purple. I'm gonna keep wiping it off because it was a stupid idea to eat right before this. It always is a stupid idea. So the angle consists, it keeps going. We got the angle here. We got this piece of glass cut on the angle. The square outside there is straight. Then we have, this is obviously an angle. And then here is an angle. So they kept the angle. This has a giant SMSL logo. This has a slightly smaller one there. And we have this blank patch. The volume knob, because this is a preamp. So you can leave it at 0, and then this is just a DAC. It's outputting signal. You're good to go. You can hook it up to whatever you want and control the volume elsewhere. I was using this actually in my living room. I was feeding it fiber optic, leaving it on 0, and using the Ragnarok 2, because our Ragnarok doesn't have a DAC built in. And I think this is good enough to use in a Ragnarok 2. Are we starting to understand? Because the other DAC that I reviewed literally earlier is the topping E30. Which is smaller than this, not balanced, also uses a remote, also, does it have Bluetooth? Does the E30 have Bluetooth? Wow, I can't remember. I'm losing my mind today. So we're gonna go with this. I'm gonna keep going, because I found the most tilted girl I could find in my wallpaper folder, so she could represent the tilt of the units, and that's what we're going with. That's basing my entire life on that. So you get a digital control knob here. The button in the center is to pick inputs, and the inputs are not labeled with words. There's a picture. There's a very wide Bluetooth logo. There's a USB. That's fiber optic, and it's I guess so. And then that's coaxial, I guess so. And then that's back to Bluetooth. So you get your 4 inputs. We're gonna go back to SPDIF or Toslink if you want to be real accurate. And if you hold this middle button down, you turn the DAC off. There's actually a little red LED in the center. I don't hate this at all. I don't hate in fact, you know what? This might be the first unit on my channel in years that when you put it in standby shows a red LED. Can someone verify that? I know there's super fans out there that know everything about my channel. And like, oh, Zeals is wearing the stripy pants versus the stripes with the double pants versus the pants with the pattern. These are green. These are new. So you can write that down in your weird obsessive list. But that's a thing that hasn't been around in decades. Like the actual, like, oh, I've shut the unit off. Just a red standby light. I miss those. Turn it on. That light goes away. It does not come back on in any form because the screen is on. The blue screen. And it's nice, big, chunky numbers. That's why I was using this in the living room. And I was either using the Ragnarok to control the volume, or when I realized how absolutely fucking abysmal the Ragnarok's remote control is, I turned the Ragnarok up most of the way, and then I just use this remote control to easily adjust and easily see where I was. The volume control has a great pace, too. You don't realize that's a thing until you've reviewed like 20 units that have remote controls. That fucking topping, the D90 in my closet, does not have a great pace. It has a great pace, but it's not a great pace. This, I feel like I'm never gonna blow something up. It's like, all right, ready? We're gonna go to 30 to 0. 30, 29, 20, 10, 0. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. That's fine. That's fine. That's a calm, relaxed speed. We're going to get to where we want to go. It's not going to take more than 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. It's fine. I like that. I like that. How far does this go? Only goes down to -40, by the way. So the topping E30 goes down to 99, and it does it in half decibel increments, too. So if we're comparing against the topping E30, which I didn't think it was gonna, and by the way, it's still hooked up in my living room running the Emotiva monoblocks onto those Noemi speakers. So a bit more of a chunk when it comes to the volume control. And I noticed this. There's no half measures. There's no half decimal increments. And if you're doing a rough adjustment of volume, that's fine. But I was trying to control, because one of the problems with this SP200 is the low gain isn't low enough. That's like, if you want to do IMs, you take your 789, you turn it to low, and you have basically control over the entire thing. Low gain is usually too low for things, but on easy to drive IMs, that's perfectly fine. These are the, by the way, blonde BLO5s, And I've got them on a triple win wire, which is balanced, and I have this balance adapter, and Zeos can link all 3 of these items if you want to experience this yourself. But you plug this in, and I was not comfortable with the volume control on the SP200. So what I did was I lowered 24 decibels out of the DAC, and then on low, I was able to get up to like 12 o'clock and have it be loud. 24 decibels. My only problem with that is and I usually don't complain about this, I would actually prefer it. They put the knobs on the same side. And if you go down to reach and you reach for the wrong knob without looking or without feeling, there is a pretty stellar difference between the shape and size. This is a wider, shorter, and this is a thinner, more easily controllable one. But when I was doing like that much of a turn, you're looking at like a 6 decibel increase. Whereas this would be much less, but it's just an amplifier. So it's a little disconcerting that they're like right above one another and you might hit one with the other when you're doing it. So you may not want to, they used to call it a shit stack. And then I made it the shit spread. So that was when you did this. Wow, did I turn those cables the wrong way? Hold on, I'm losing my cool. There. So you might want to do this just so you have a blatant, like I'm controlling the amp or I'm controlling the source volume, which that's the reason to pick up any DAC for this that has volume control. The Geshelli Labs Enog. Again, remember, this is not a balanced amplifier. You don't need XLR cables. You could just run RCAs and it makes 0 difference to the output of this. Now, the quality of the DAC always makes a difference. Well, the quality of the DAC makes a difference to the point where don't put shit into it, but anything that I've recommended is usually going to be fine. But the Geshelli Labs has 3 steps of volume. 3. Full out, half out, low. And on this, I'd probably put out half out. In fact, I have it on half out on here, just so I can leave it on full gain and never ever get it to the like mad crunchy areas. Because it can get to mad crunchy. So let's plug something else in. Yes. I'm going to put on low gain. Always reset to low gain. Always lower the volume. I have had a couple times with this SP200 where I've pulled out a 1/4 inch jack a little bit too slow because it gets stuck. And the amp goes into protect mode for a little while. Like 5 or 6 seconds, it's like, no sound. Okay, I'll put it back on. Because when you pull out a 1/4 inch, there's a contact here, a contact here, and a contact here. And there's 3 of them, and when you pull it out, 2 of them can touch the same thing at the same time. It gets real nasty. And the amp, it's fine if you go real fast. The amp doesn't care. Most amplifier manufacturers will tell you in the manual, turn down the amp all the way, or turn it off before unplugging and replugging. Good fucking luck with that, buddy. You know how many times I plug and unplug and plug? So, the DAC here is basically transparent. That's as high a praise as I can give it, except there's a problem with transparency. We're gonna have to go through the menus. There's a thing. There's a thing there's a thing. And I don't know if it's a bad thing. It's probably a bad thing, but we're gonna go through it anyway. So, power, mute, you do get mute. It'll flash the number, whatever you're on. You get to adjust your volume up and down, left and right, do absolutely nothing, except I have a FLIRC that is registered to an SMSL controller, so next track is being initiated and it's changing tracks every time I hit the right arrow, which is good because it doesn't do anything on the unit. So that's better than wasting a remote control function. Then you come down, the center button is menu, which we're gonna go through. This is your input select, where you can just cycle through the various 4 inputs. Function will either show you 44, not even 44.1, because there's no decimal places. It's very rough. 44 kilohertz, sorta. If I shuffle around, eventually it'll say 96. The odds of me hitting a 96 are very low. 48, close enough. So it'll show you that, or it'll show you the volume, or it'll show you that, or it'll show you the volume. Those are your 2 choices. You don't have a lot. You don't have a lot. But I mean, the topping E30 also didn't have a lot. And the SMSL, see the SMSL SU8, which this should be replacing. This should be replacing the SMSL SU8. It's got a better remote. It's brand new. It's this series. Why do I feel like this is not replacing the SU8? Because the menu in the SU8 actually had functions. Right, function, we saw that. Obviously, you'll leave it on volume if you're going to use volume. If you're just going to leave it on your desk and it's never going to have the knob touched, put it on kilohertz. However, if you adjust the volume by accident, it's going to go back to kilohertz, and you're not going to know that. You're going to be like, why is my amplifier doesn't seem like it's consistent? So you might want to just check that every once in a while. Then you have the famous ABC buttons, and I forget which one it is, but if you press A, yeah, A is broken, you press B, B is broken, you press C, and then you could adjust things. So if you ever pick up this remote and it doesn't work, that's because this is so you can have A and control all these functions on a unit, B, control these functions on a different unit, and C, control these functions on this unit. Why do I mean, I've never, there's only been, actually, how many have I had and how many have used A? I'd have to go back and compile a list, but that's annoying. You just have to know, like, get a marker and black out these fucking ones. It always hits, if you just hit C occasionally, just like, you know what, I'm just like C, and just in case C, and then you could adjust things. So now to the menu. FL5 or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. I hope you can see this. I don't want to keep holding this thing up. FL is filter. Now, I've explained this in the topping review. Filter means, the filter is basically how it deals with sounds over 20,000 hertz. I don't fucking care. My dog, which I don't have, doesn't care. My cat doesn't care. Only my oscilloscope cares. I can't hear a difference in any of the filters. And if people can, then God bless them. And if they claim they could absolutely hear it, and they're like 65 years old, they're crazy. No one hears that high. So that's a thing. That's your filter selection. And I don't know why it's there. You hit it again. DF1. Now, DF1 has a choice of 1 or 2. You could have DF1 or DF2. You know what that stands for? Well, hold on, let me get it right, so I could yell about it a little bit more. This unit can do 32-bit, 768 kilohertz DSD512. Exactly the same as the topping E30. But that's not balanced. But it also has a similar remote. Just saying. Wait, what were we just talking about? All right, DF1. And D is lowercase because you can't have a capital D. It'll just be an O. Is the DSD filter. So just like you have filters for the regular DAC, you have filters for that, and you have 1 or 2. That's all it explains, 1 or 2. Minimize this so we can get back to at least a wallpaper you guys can enjoy. DP0 or DP1. So instead of having 1 and 2, now you have 0 and 1. And that is DSD volume elimination. It'll literally eliminate the ability to adjust the volume. It'll be raw, original volume out of DSD, which is apparently a big deal. You can set that. For those of you who want DSD, again, I don't give a shit. I have all this. I don't need slight differences in my sound. I don't. FLAC's enough. 44.1 FLAC is basically enough. All right? Just shh. Zeus wants to take a nap right now. But now we got to get to the real problem. SC. And, well, BL is brightness level. And there's only 3, just like on the topping. And there's filter, DF, DP, SC. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're going to give it a second. 3, 2, 1. You can do it up and down. SC 1, 2, and 3. Let me read you what that says. And this is all it says on the webpage and in the manual. Sound color selection. That's it. It doesn't describe what 1, 2, and 3 are doing. If you have an SU8 or you watch my review of that or the SMSL VMVD1, the big $1,300 DAC, those had sound color selections that were tube, crystal, and there was another one that I can't remember what it is. But there was like 3 different modes with 3 different levels of that mode and explained exactly what it was doing. Or you could turn off all sound color modes and have it just be neutral. And I don't know if this has that. I assume SC1 means that it's not coloring the sound. Because that's a... If someone says, hey, my DAC colors the sound, they say, well, you need to get another DAC. So, but you can have a DAC that can color the sound as long as you can turn it off. This doesn't tell me in any publication I found if SC1 is uncolored. I would prefer if there was an SC0 and then 1, 2, 3. But that's not the case. It's sound colors 1, sound color 2, and sound color 3. And I know those 3 things work because in my living room, as much as I wanted, when I was using this through the Ragnarok and then through my Buchart S400s up there, I put those down, I put them on the Ragnarok too. This was feeding the Rag and controlling the volume. And I was insistent on leaving it on SC1. The only problem was I really liked the way SC3 sounded. Whatever that's doing. So if you get this DAC, you could be damn sure you're going to have a slight epileptic seizure trying to figure out if you should leave it on SC1 or SC2 or SC3. Because I know SC3 is not a reference flat curve, which if you're getting a DAC, that should be what you get so that your amp can do or actually, ideally, you'd want the final product, the headphone. Did I plug this in and even put it on my head? I don't think I even did that. Hold on. Hold on. SC1. SC2 is more lively and like in my head. And SC3 is like softer on top. Like that's the problem. If there was a problem, there's always a problem with everything. And it's not the slant, and it's not the fact that this is not balanced. It's the fact that this has sound color modes that I don't know what they're doing. And no one will explain it to me. So all I could tell you is if you buy this DAC, you'll be absolutely happy with the way it performs. Other than the chunky volume control, because 1 decibel increments is actually a lot when you have amplifiers that have a lot of gain. Like if I was down, let's see, I'll take this down to like -20. I'll put this on high gain. We're listening to Space Dandy. It was more prevalent on those, but it was like, ooh, you do bad. Actually, it was worse on these. The IMs that I was trying to control. If you went even 2 or 3 decibels past where you set it and didn't touch this at all, it was fuck you death loud. So, chunky volume is scary. I like the remote. It's built, I mean, other than the fact that it's got that weird fucking angle, it's built well. It's a solid metal box. It's, of course, black, like everything. Like all our souls are just black on the inside. There's nothing else to compliment it on physically. I like how big and that's another thing about the SU8. If you put that in the living room, if your goal was to take one of these things and put it in the living room, like I said you could do with the E30, which I'm going to obviously have a link to the E30 in the description because it's just going to have to be there. What's new? Pussycat's playing again. Fuck you, Pussycat! The bar across the street has a playlist playing now since quarantine broke about 10 days ago. Well, it didn't break, but people are starting to come out, and they haven't changed the fucking playlist. And Tom Jones' What's New Pussycat plays every 3 hours. It's a 3-hour playlist. And I don't hear every song on repeat, but whenever What's New Pussycat comes on, and I know there's a video of the story about the comedian who, it is absolutely infuriating, and I'm going to run over there with a baseball bat. I don't have to buy a baseball bat. I have to go over in the line, and I have to wait a week for the baseball bat, and then I can come and I can beat those Bose 301 speakers that they were nice enough to put outside to attract customers to death. And I've talked to them, and the ladies that work there are like, the owner just, this is what he wants. And they look like they were going to die. Because they're even closer. They're closer to the Chernobyl reactor of What's New Pussycat. I'm sorry I'm taking this out on you people. You don't come here for this. Or maybe you do. But if I seem a little on edge, that's the reason. Because What's New fucking Pussycat keeps playing on a loop. Okay. And it's a nice spring day. It's like 62 degrees out. Of course I have my window open. I had to close that one, but I have that one open. I figured it's far enough away that you won't hear What's New Pussycat. And you just probably, you know, I will absolutely be in the news if this video gets a content ID match for Tom fucking Jones. Okay, let's move on. I think I've said everything I need to say. This DAC, does it live up to the hype? Like, there was apparently hype around this, and I didn't get that. Because, I mean, everyone likes this. I like this amp. I really do. It was the cheapest version. I still say buy the 789 because the low gain works. And even though it's not truly, like, it has some balanced issues with the single-ended fucking volume knob, this is completely not balanced at all. And that has none of them have a 4.4 Pentacon, which is sort of, but you can buy an adapter. The slant was everyone laughed at, but everyone freaked out. Oh my God, the M200 DAC's coming. I'm like, so? Do people care about matching stacks really that much? Because guess what, guys? The finish doesn't match, so you're shit out of luck. But I mean, it does its job as a DAC. I wish it wasn't as dumb. It's like the SU8's interface, when you get into the menu and you start playing with it, is better. But it's also this big. It's that fucking big. It's so small. Even here is too small. You have to like wear the fucking thing to read it. And this is a big, bold, far away interface, which would be great for a living room. But it doesn't have any options. It's like they dumbed down the brain and gave it a bigger face. It's like, But it's clean. On SC1, if I'm assuming SC1 is normal, it's fine. It's a fine DAC. It's an absolutely fine DAC. I probably would aim for the unbalanced topping E30 more because it's half the price of this. This is not cheap. The E30 is 130 and this is like double that. So it's like, is it a giant killer DAC? If you never touch the volume, you left it at 0. The Bluetooth is good. It works. It's good distance. It's got the newest codecs. If you didn't care about how it looks, this is a fine DAC. Fine. I would almost save the money and get the E30 though. It's like, but if you want that perfect stack, if you have this and you want that, there you go. And you can almost not, from this angle, you can't tell that it's all fucked up. You can't tell it's doing that. It's fine. It's fine like this. I'm done talking about it now. There's nothing else I could talk about. Tom Jones, What's New Pussycat, is ruined everyone's fucking night. Or actually, it releases at 8 in the morning. Everyone's day has been ruined. And please don't listen to that song because you're like, what song is he talking about? Oh, I'll link it to you on Spotify. Don't. I will link the comedian sketch about What's New Pussycat in the description. Because people don't go to the description enough. In fact, I started pinning comments with the subscribe star on Patreon because they're just more visible there. Oh, God. God help us all. What's New Pussycat? Oh, God. That and Love and Marriage, the Sinatra song theme from Married with Children. I hear that one, too. That one doesn't stick out as much in my mind. It's a quieter song. But fucking What's New Pussycat is like just a man wailing. I don't have to re-review this amp. I did the review. It stands. I'd still probably pick up, now that is this was 400 and this was 280. Now that's 300 and this is 280. That's $20 difference. So even if it's the 888 and the newest technology, who cares? That's easier to control in a better built box and doesn't have a crooked thing. And it's got a 3-way gain switch and it's got a 3.5mm and it's, look, that's it. I'm done. Download her, please. Cut her out. Put her on your phone. And someone tell me why she's popular again. Isn't she from like Street Fighter or something? Who's this bitch? What's this bitch from? I just see her everywhere. I see her everywhere. I'm like, did they re-release a thing? Why is she a thing again? And I don't understand. But there she is regardless, because she's on an angle. And the links, like I said, to Patreon and subscribe so that keep this channel going and my sanity. I'm going to need pills, boys and girls. There's got to be pills that make Tom Jones go away. And when I need those, I depend on you guys just for support. Because there's no medical coverage that's going to be like, oh, we have those pills. Those pills aren't sold in America. But yeah, you can check those out. See these reviews early on Patreon and Subscribestar. Ask me any questions on platform. Bid in the yard sales, 1st to the 10th. I am this close to selling both of these things in the yard sale. Both. The only reason I like the SP200 amp is this. The fact that I don't have to dick around and keep a transformer. Because if I had to pull a 789 out, I got to pull the box, I got to pull the fucking transformer, and then I got to plug the transformer. This is just power done. It's a cleaner unit as far as hookup. It's small too. And it's the same wattage as that and more powerful single-ended. I'll probably not sell this. I just convinced myself not to sell it. Even though I'm like, well, you might as well get that. But for me and testing purposes, if I just need quick, balanced amp. But fuck, the A90 exists and it's better than this. It's better than this. Shit. All right, maybe this will end up in the yard sale. We'll see. We'll see. I'll probably sell both of these things in the yard. So maybe I'll sell it as a stack. Although, you think I'd make more if I sold them individually or if I sold them as a stack? Give me your opinion in the comments. Anyway, that's yard sales, 1st to 10th of every month for $5 patrons or subscribers, substars. I'll eventually just say substars. If you want to be up in my grill all the time, and that I mean in my phone, there's a $10 Patreon, there's a $10 Telegram chat, telegram.me, used by ISIS and all sorts of terrorist organizations around the world. Is that I also have a public Z Reviews, which has over 1,000 members in it, and the private channel, which is only for $10 patrons. And you're in there, it's recycled every 3 months, that channel. So as long as you are a paid up patron when that cycle happens, you're in there for 3 months guaranteed. And let me tell you, you're gonna get some advice. Not all good. I am the patron saint of lighter wallets. I quoted someone there and I have it written down. But Zios, and he's the patron saint of light wallets. So good luck if you join the $10 tier. I'll answer all your questions, and then other people will answer questions you didn't even fucking ask. And the answer will be Arias. It'll always be Arias. And a Skedra cable. Everyone needs their $300, $400, $800 Skedra cables. It's like madness. It's just it's a money suck. Don't join my $10 Patreon or Subscribestar. That $10 will cost you thousands. Which is probably getting some of your nipples hard. And some of you are just like, oh, I'm not going to join that. But some of you, you know who you are. You're like, yeah, I need to live like this. Live. Anyway, I'm done. Literally fucking done. This is like my 3rd review today. Just going to point out once again that Hi-Fi Guides is the thing. And if you wanted to buy in-ears and you had a budget of at least $1,000, at least $1,000, you literally only have Andromeda and I thought I fixed that. That's bullshit. The icon for the U12Ts is broken. Why is that outside? Oh, it's outside of your price range because the slider only goes up to 2,000. All right. Well, there's that and the forums, and the forums are lovely. Thank you to everyone who's joined the Hi-Fi Guides forums. I didn't think it would succeed. I thought it would be like a place that no one goes to, but we have a lot of people here talking about a lot of things. Lots of things. The off topic is cute too. I like that place. Anyway, down the wallpaper, the things and support, and I'll see you tomorrow for another review because that's how Zeos rolls. It's dailies here. Even if I lose my mind, it's always dailies.